As long as we come on air every evening, the whole world must listen. As long as we preach this very gospel, Chukwokika Piama must be with us. Therefore, without any further hesitation, we must proceed to offer every prayer to Chukwu Okike Abiyama who resided in heaven. Therefore, as we always commence, not from today, but from of old, our Father who art in heaven, that your name may be hallowed by men, that we may bow at the mention of it, that we may offer every glory unto thee, that we may offer you every adoration and adulation, because there is none like thee. You fight our battles for us. Every blessed day you demonstrate through your kindness and your everlasting mercy that you are our Lord, our God, and our Creator. This evening we offer these your children unto thee all over this very planet that you created. They are listening across the entire 24 time zones on this very planet where they inhabit. They are listening to your gospel this very evening, this gospel of redemption, a gospel of hope, a gospel of restoration, a gospel of renewal, this very gospel of freedom, this very gospel of emancipation as only you ordained. That this very gospel must be preached, that mankind may be set free from the eternal damnation of the creation of the British. My goodness me, I want to remain in the spirit, because we must worship heaven. We answer your name, O Lord of hosts. Everything about us is designed to offer glory unto thee. We have atoned for our sins last year. This very year, we have not only atoned for our sins, we have spilled, we have shed blood, they have shed our blood. We have let our sacrifice be made unto thee. Even on the 30th of August, as we are being felled by the bullets of the enemy, by the workers of iniquity and of darkness, we remain very strong today to beckon upon thee, to ask you for your mercy and for your grace, to ensure that your kingdom is restored upon the face of the earth, that you can bring your healing hand to bear upon the life of those of them that you created for one singular purpose, and that purpose alone, which is to worship you in truth and in every honesty. Is there any way that we have erred? Is there any way that our ancestors may have sinned? We confess before a congregation of the whole of humanity to ask you, O Lord of hosts, to have mercy upon us. You must have mercy upon us. We have suffered enough. We have been subjugated enough. We have been tortured enough. We have been imprisoned enough. We did not do these people anything. Our only crime is to answer your name. Our only crime is to be born your children. Our only crime is to excel at everything that we place our hands into. Our only crime is to exhibit your glory and your blessing, which manifestedly is upon our lives every blessed day. That is why they want to kill us. That is why the British want to join those of them who don't know you, to destroy your creation and your inheritance. You will not allow shame to befall your name. You will not allow the enemies to triumph over the lives of your children, because you created us to exist, to worship, to honor, and to praise you. That is exactly what we are going to do when this Biafra comes. It will come in truth and in every honesty, because we remain every blessed day. Chukwuabiama believe we're whiter than white and whiter than snow. Is there any way that we have sinned that you cannot forgive us our trespasses, to enable us to fulfill your own word, which was spoken thousands of years ago, that instead of what you promised not to come to pass, that heaven and earth will cease to exist? You opened your mouth to bless mankind to the coming of Yahweh Yeshua, who came here and said, let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. those words can never be in vain because they are anchored upon your holiness and your magnificence. That is why in the end we know that Biafra will come, that these children that we have given birth to all over the world, and their children, and their children, and their children, as long as they give birth to them and they are Biafrans, they will worship you in truth and honesty. Through this very work we are doing, mankind will come to understand you. Let your miracle be wrought in our lives. Let us witness and behold your magnificence, your holiness, your mystery, and your grace under our command. O Lord of hosts, we call upon you. We call upon you to heal. We call upon you to provide succor to those of them who are inconsolable. We ask you to come and strengthen those who are weak. We ask you to restore hope where there is hopelessness. We ask you for inclusion where there is destitution. We ask you for one brotherhood, one camaraderie, one bone, one blood, and one flesh of your children. The Efiks and the Bibios, the Izon, the Shekiri, the Isobos, and also those of them from Isoko. We are traveling all the way to the lands of Igala. We are moving on from there to Idoma, to Igede, to the territories of the Igbo land. All these places we dedicate unto thee. All these lands of yours, we ask you to cover it with your mercy. Because Biafra will come, and when it does, we will dance on the streets. I'm telling you, by the time that we are done, humanity will think that we are mad, we are drunk in your glory, and rightfully so, because your kingdom will come to rest upon this very earth. That very kingdom is the unadulterated, non-negotiable sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra, that your will may be fulfilled in our time. All this we pray, all these we ask for, in no other name apart from that name that belongs to you. He said, my name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet, I tell you. I lead indigenous people of Biafra IPOB. So also do I command the armies of Biafra. They are fiercely loyal. They are loyal, I tell you, and doing the work that I expect them to do. I also direct Radio Biafra not through any power which I possess or any extraordinary knowledge, but by your grace, O Lord. By your grace, we honor you and we adore you. I know that some people listening, including the British, may not understand what we are doing, but there is nobody in Britain that answers Nwachubu, the child of heaven. We do. Therefore, when we worship our Father, people should not try to be jealous. They should not feign ignorance or misunderstanding, because we are ancient people. We have been doing this for over 5,000 years, and will continue to do so until the end of time.
Yes, he said, once again, he said to our leader, Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, from my location, my greetings to my president, Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. To my Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa Njoko, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. So the acting head or the Deputy Prime Minister of United States of Biafra, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and all the Biafrans under United State of Biafra. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on your time and your own location. Those and all the United States of Biafra military, the elite squad, the elite squad that are controlling and also protecting our territory. I salute all the commanders and all the generals and also all the liaison heads, all the ambassadors of United States of Biafra. Please, as I welcome you, please endeavor to welcome one another. As I welcome you, please endeavor to welcome one another. Mazi Global, I welcome you. I welcome you. Thank you so much for all you do. I greet you. Then as I welcome you, please endeavor to welcome one another by hitting the like button. Once you touch the like button, continuously commenting and subscribe on the YouTube page, others must get notification that we are live and we are direct. We are not hiding ourselves. This is a time to come out openly now that we have our country. And the many countries has been accepting our documents, use it to give people asylum, or use the reason that for them to know there is a new country called, or we are declared country called United States of Biafra. So please, as I welcome you, I want you to equally welcome another person. In our today's program, also check the headline of this today's program so you will see the headline. On that headline, check on description of the down. Then you will see the full headline of today's program. Please, I urge you to do so, because the headline could not pass more than 100 words. So I have to go into abbreviation of some words for me to put it there the way it's supposed to be. Like I said, in our today's program, we are going to find out what is really mean, and how the world will see a group of people with only pretext, and why the world said that a government in exile is a country in waiting. Today, you still remain under IPOB organization as a group. The only thing that you have been doing since 27 years is to protest on the streets always. Let us see why the world see it, and those you are calling, those you are claiming that you are submitting your petition to, why are they not talking? And how are they seeing you as in person that are submitting documents with the name IPOB organization? Only protest is the only movement you have, or the only thing you can offer. The things that surrenders you becoming a full country you claim, because in the prayer of Nnamdi Kanu, he said, Republic of what? Biafra. Not Republic of IPOB, not Republic of Masab, not Republic of BGC, not Republic of Fallback, but he prayed for what? Republic of Biafra. In modern day words, we only put words United States of what? Biafra, like what is unified or what hold the people together. That is only what changed from his prayer. He never prayed that Biafra must come from IPOB or the IPOB is the Biafra. He never prayed so. He prayed for Republic of Biafra as a country. And for you to have Republic of Biafra as a country, there is process, there is rules, there is templates. IPOB, we cannot telling you that they have a 4 cardinal point. The 4 cardinal point of IPOB does not give a country. The 4 cardinal points of IPOB, you must remain fearless, you must remain resolute, you must do it all the time. Those 4 things are useless. Because those 4 things can never give Biafra as a country. Because for the criteria for you to become a nation is not included, it's not among. That is your own template. That is your own yardstick. Not the yardstick, not the template, not the protocol of the world and what they believe on it. And what you claim you want Biafra as a country, people have used protests in the past. Have a time of protest, have a time of transition into a government in exile and make a formal declaration. For over 10 to 12 years, you are on the protest. And the word said, under the law, they said that when a protest exists 2 years, it becomes violence and making noise on social media. That the maximum protest to transition, how the world look at it is minimum of 3 years. 1 to 3 years is the minimum. Then you must transition into government in exile, like what Simon Ekpa, who read this law and who understands this constitution, what it's all about, followed up. That is why in the fight of Simon Ekpa, we are now United States of Biafra, whether like it or not. You must accept you a nation before people will address you as a country. You can't continue shouting IPOB, one family organization, and you want the world to see you as a country. Who does that? Where has it happened? Tell me, please. Tell me what IPOB organization. Tell me that's name. Tell me those who have used it to achieve their country in the past. Tell me one country where it has happened because of this organization that their protest triggers for them to become a full country. Please, can you come up and tell me? Like I always said, I will close this Facebook. I will shut it down. This YouTube, I will close it down. I will not talk again. Tell me, all this you are falling back and deep down and falling side and outside road, inside food and all of them. Tell me, where has it happened in the past? One country, please give me one. I said, how we touch this YouTube down. We never prayed, yes, for the Republic of IPOB. No. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu prayed for Republic of Biafra as a country. That is what he prayed for. Yes, United States of Biafra. I see you. Thank you so much for your comments. We are not, but we are United States of Biafra. We are United States of Biafra. Republic of United States of what? Biafra is who we are. Like I said, our headline remains in full. UN, EU, AU, Iccpr Icj. I know why I put that in there. A group with only protests, noise making, government in exile with peaceful declaration, country in waiting for recognition. This is how the world, this is criteria of the UN. This is criteria of the ICJ, International Criminal Court. This is their criteria. That is when you're sending your petition. If you claim IPO is sending petition anywhere. Look at how they see you with your group for over 12 or 15 years agitation of protests. And what was agitation? Simply mean I am not happy. That's the meaning of agitation. Protest means the way I was being treated, I don't like it. I want you to change. That is the protest. A protest that leads to a country must be done for only 3 years. And transition will happen. What is the transition? Transition is forming a government in exile, a government structure that are leading the people. Network today. Please, am I coming out? Are you still hearing loud and clear? Can someone hear me loud and clear? Because my network is somehow shaking, which I don't know the reason why it's shaking. Okay, thank you so much. Now on that, we are going to draw to comment section. Tedus Clement, I see you. Gozier Zenwa, I see you from my location. You're welcome. Thank you so much. You said here, Mazichino, Biafra Research TV, Ndewo, Omaka Melo, my brother, thank you so much. Gozier Zenwa, Mazi, one name, thanks for what you do. May your days be long. He say, I wish you the same, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Then, United States of Biafra. Ndewo Mazi, watching from state of Iccpr. Wow. Iccpr, I like the courage of the media of Iccpr state. I give it to you people. In fact, among the 40 states, if they ask me to pronounce, I am from Odimegu state, but you see Iccpr, their media is number one in the homeland. Round of applause for them, because I've been listening time to time. Esther Okwese, I see you. Thank you so much. I see your waving hand. Uche Ejiofor, I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I see Ekwem Justina. Thank you so much. I see you. Thank you so much. I see my boss. Please, Biafrans, greet Mazi Divinity. Abara Eke in a special way for me, please. Please. My faith, I see you. I see you. Amadi Chigozie. Thank you so much. You're always here. I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So as we move, or as we proceed, remember the headline. How do the UN see all of you that we are street protesters? UN, EU, AU, Iccpr Icj, a group with only protests, noise making, government in exile with peaceful declaration, country in waiting. This is how the world sees these two things. And then now think of where the world can come out, the International Criminal Court you are claiming you are submitting documents, Commonwealth, UN, EU, AU, and all these bodies you claim that IPOB is submitting. And they're making this openly for us for you and I to understand clearly that your protest alone that has passed to maximum 3 years, they are said that you are a noise maker. But a government in exile, they are seeing them as what? A government in exile that makes a peaceful declaration. The world sees it as what? As a country in waiting. Now, think of or check. We tell yourself the truth. That someone said that what you are representing is making noise. That what you are representing is a country in waiting for recognition to be a full sovereignty. Which one among these two gives you a better leverage or a better opportunity or sees you as someone who is responsible? A noisemaker is responsible. That I am not saying that I'm not going to IPOB not responsible, but the actions of the UN, the laws and the protocol or existing rules has called you that you are a noisemaker. Then the question should be, when do you intend to stop this your noise making? When? When do you intend to stop your noise making in social media? You have made this noise from time of Owazurike to time of Mazen Akan 2021. Even till today, shame, no, you have been doing one thing, time immemorial, often and on, and that one thing does not bring any other different result. And you cannot be able to change. Why can't you change to another different thing and see how this thing will bring? Why, when you live in Italy, you see opportunity of going to America, you travel to America? Please tell me. Why is it when you living in African country, you see a lot of opportunity to dive into Spain, you move in there? Why can't you stay in African country now? Why do you move away? It's only in the Biafra movement, Biafra to become a country, that those who claim that their name is IPOB organization cannot transition. They cannot move around. But I see somebody like Obi-Wan moving away from Ukraine down to Germany. What does it call? It's called transition. I see many of you from different angles moving away from one country to another to a better country. It's called what? Transition. It's called change. And the world make it openly that a protest for you to become a new nation is not supposed to pass 3 years maximum. It's only in African mentality that a protest move into decade. It's only in African method that a protest becomes a decade history. But when it comes to the white people, that is why they are forward, they are at front, we at back. That is why. And the only time that someone has come to remove you, have you never asked yourself, why is that Nigeria did not tag government in Exile of 7 terrorists? Why? Why you never asked why the USB they are declared is not mentioned as a terrorist group? But why till today that you are IPOB organization under the curriculum of law of Nigeria, you remain a terrorist group? And someone has come to move you away from that. Someone has come to let you know that this is not where you belong. This is not supposed to be. And for us to do another different thing, you refuse. That is why I left all of you in IPOB and joined Simon Ep and Joko. From time of COVID-19 he started. And today look at where we are. I can proudly right now prove I am a Biafran with a document. And let me tell you one thing, in any country where you are today, if you think that USB is not the father for all this group that are messing around, go and try to use any other document to seek for asylum or to open bank in country where you are. Go and tell IPOB to issue ID card for you. Go, they will arrest you, deport you with immediate effect. Go and try now. Is it fall back? 4-1 and you? It's only United States of Biafra document will give you. You can use that open bank. You can use that open. You can use that get asylum. No other one. Swallow that your selfish pride and look at those you are calling to come and help you, like the UN. They are involved. Like the EU, they are involved. Like the AU in Africa, they are involved. International Criminal Court, they are involved. All these laws of United Nations, all the laws of Montevideo Convention, and all of them are what? They are involved. It's not, I must tell you one thing. It's not about who is there before. They said overtake is allowed. Let me use football to give an example. Lionel Messi today, is he claiming the world champion again? The little boys has taken over. Another people has man up. Your time has passed. Everything about this life is changing every time. Everything about this life is changing. The only thing that is not changing is IPOB organization. And Chukwu Okabiama knows that they are not changing. That is why Chukwu Okabiama give us Simon Ebanjoko. And those who are into spirit understand it and follow him up without wasting time. That is why we are where we are today. And if not for him, I don't really know what will be the outcome of all this. Nobody could have talked about Biafra again. Nobody. So going down to the real program of today, you know how we do it. We will play the audio for you. We will play the audio. Then after playing the audio, then we do our analysis on it. Hope you know. Yes, Chibuzed, I see you. Thank you so much for coming. I see you. Thank you so much. Augustine, Onwubiko, I see you. Divine, I see you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Remember the code in a capital letter. Hashtag United States of Biafra. Hashtag I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. Hashtag Nigeria must go. Biafra is a nation. So remember our headline as we're moving in. The headline remains UN, EU, AU, Iccpr LOL chapter, ICJ, group with only protests, noise making. Government in exile with peaceful declaration, country in waiting. Now, let us find out what they have for us today and why is a country in waiting, and why you with your protests is noise making in social media or in the atmosphere of the world. That is why time to time the world are revisiting what they are doing. Time to time people are changing what they are doing. Time to time business is changing. So we are going to start with this particular question I asked under my research. The question I ask is this: I want history of the year many protest groups transitioned into government in exile that gives them international recognition of their full country. This is my question. This is my question. I repeat it again. My question is, I want history of the years many protest groups transition into government in exile that gives them international recognition of full sovereignty or full country. That is my first question. And that is where we are going to listen right now, so you can hear from the research what they give us an answer before we proceed.
The history of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence. The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative. Key historical transitions to statehood. 1. The Algerian model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free. The shift. They moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister. Result. This allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals. 2. The Polish continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor. Perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift. When Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London. The power of the Declaration. Because they held the official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years, until Poland became democratic in 1990. 3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned from mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions. The legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community. Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face. The no man's land problem. International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents. Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day one. 3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing. Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law. Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government?
Listen again. The second time. Agwofu onye furobel eke and the Amadna Bobar or Madetobe Ziama. Listen to it again.
The history of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence. The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative. Key historical transitions to statehood. 1. The Algerian model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free. The shift. They moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister. Result. This allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals. 2. The Polish continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor. Perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift. When Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London. The power of the Declaration. Because they held the official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years, until Poland became democratic in 1990. 3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned from mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions. The legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community. Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face. The no man's land problem. International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents. Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day 1. 3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing. Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law. Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government?
I hope you have listening and you followed it up. If one represents noise making and one represents signature, which one are you going to choose? Please tell me on the comment section. Between noise making, knowing you as a noise making, and between knowing you as a signatory, or is your signature makes you the owner, which one are you going to choose? And if that's the one that with signature is the one that the world values and the one that the world recognized, and never recognized one with the noise, which one on normal, without hatred, without envy, without jealous, without I am here before this, or I'm here before you, which year do you join? The year that you join does not matter. What matters is the year that you have taken the action. What matters is that you enter school, and what happened? You face the one who was there before you and graduate. You enter, people repeat class. Is it not true? And you move away. Because of you don't repeat class, is it going to make that the school will not give you result and they want you to wait until the one who is repeating classes is graduated with you? Look at it this way. 2 of us, you first me enter class, start school. And because of one thing or the other, lack of you paying attention in the school has made that I just entered the same class with you, a class we have repeated before. Then what happened? Then you refused to, you did not pass the exam. I passed. Are they going to do, because of the school authority, are they going to wait until you come? 2 of us pass the same time before they will mark me pass, before they will give me my result and they will enter another class? The answer is no. I will enter the class. I will leave you and move forward until you pass the class, then you join. This is where we are. Those who claim IPOB, let me tell you, the world sees you as a noise making in social media, in atmosphere. You are constituting civil unrest. And why that USB we are declared is the only government of the people. And they make it as an example here. They give an example like others. They told us openly here that you see what happened on November 24. So on November the 29th, 2024, the world has marked it. In every archive, they have already known that Biafra was re-declared November 29, 2024. They have already understand it clearly. So all this your noise, continue. Do not stop. And let me tell you, you are not going to stop recognition because you are not the one. You IPOB, you fall back, you BGC, you MASOB. You are not the one that is giving the recognition. And the recognition must come with a signature of a government structure that made a formal, peaceful declaration. And by this peaceful declaration by government in exile, has they said it solves 3 problems that you, a Protestant, is having. What are those 3 problems? Number 1 is charging you terrorist. Number 2, no signature. Number 4, no identifying territory. These are 3 important problems that a Protestant group have. But government in exile, with a formal, peaceful declaration, has solved this problem for you. And have also removed you from tagging you terrorist group, rebel group, insurgency, and all what's known. That is why you must thank Dr. Ngozi for that bold step about peaceful declaration of United States of Biafra that happens on November 29, 2024. That is, you see, the problem is saves you from. Now that this is what saves you from this problem, nobody will look you for arrest you, nobody will charge you terrorists, nobody will do anything for anything that is illegal to you anymore. Or through legal, you are number 1. Why can't you embrace it? Why can't you? Let's go down. Yes, divine. I choose the one with a signature, not the one with noise making. Yes, everyone sensibly person, every sensible person will choose signature. That is it, and that is one I choose. So IPOB choose noise making. BGC noise making. MASOB noise making. Fake fallback bridge noise making. That's what they choose. But this signature, the one that the United Nations, the one that EU, the one that AU, the one that every country in the world will choose is the one with signature. Sorry, because of your dumb head, you don't know how to transition. There is what they call transition into a government in exile that makes a formal declaration. Now that the world has left armed struggle and start using what? Peaceful declaration of the 21st century law. That is what the world has adopted.
The history of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence.
Are you hearing it? In the history of the movement, transition from protest group. Remember, Batobi said it. Batobi made 3 transition from protest to a liberation movement into government in exile. You hear it now. Into government in exile. It is a history of seeking a legal legitimacy. When you transition to liberation movement into government in exile, you are seeking for what? Legal legitimacy over mere physical presence, which is IPOB is just a mere physical presence on the street, not a legal legitimacy. What is the legal legitimacy? The legal legitimacy is government in exile with a formal or peaceful declaration. As in, I see you. Omi, or you go. Good afternoon from my location. And you are welcome. Thank you so much. When the world are here, giving us the full criteria, lead us to the open road. I will not stop using this word from Obata Obies said that the word for Biafra to be, that the road for Biafra to become a country is in the open. Now, when you are hearing all this, is it not real that it's in the open? It is in the open, really. The road to Biafra as a country is what is in the open. The history of movement transitioned from protest group or liberation movement into movement in exile is a history seeking for legal legitimacy over a mere physical presence of IPOB on the street. Legal is not physical. Legitimacy is not physical. It's on the document, it's paper, it's written note, it's things that guides the life that we are living. Legal doesn't make noise. That is what they told us. A protest group with over 3 years of demanding for something is a noise making. Now, remember the headline of today's program. From where we grab the headline. Remember today's headline. From how we got the headline of today's headline. Despite that, you can see that I put some words in abbreviation. Now, when you go into description down from where you see your headline, you will see UN, EU, AU, Iccpr Icj, a group with only protest, noise making. Government in exile with peaceful declaration, country in waiting for full recognition. This is how all this body I mentioned here sees what we are doing, how they see USB government in exile with a formal peaceful declaration of November the 29th, 2024, and how they see IPOB of roughly 12 to 13 years protests. They called you noise making in social media, that you are constituting nuisance, that you are bringing insecurity everywhere. That is how the world sees you, not USB government, but how those you claim that you have petitioned UN, you have petitioned United Kingdom, you have petitioned United Nations. Believe you me, all those people you are claiming you are petitioned with a protest group sees you as a noise making. There is no legal backup for you. But through a government in exile with a formal peaceful declaration, you have legal legitimacy backup.
The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative.
Are you hearing it? They said is real. In fact, there is no how. Let me use the common. There is nothing you can do for the world organizes a protest group as a country. They said no, it is not happening. But it has a long history of organizing a government in waiting, which is what? Government in exile. They call it what? Government in waiting. That present a formal, organized, administrative structure of a government. That is, they said that the world and the countries has a long history of them, but instead it's hard and never in life they had organized a protest group. I said I challenge. Today is the 17th day of April 2025. This is my word to anybody who is IPOB member, who claim IPOB social media today. Please tell me one country that because of protests, the world called them and said, we thought, or we want to ask you, what are you protesting for? Oh, I want the Republic of Biafra. They said, you have been here for decades, because IPOB, the movement of Biafra, after the 1967, 1970, from 1999 of Owazurike till today, it has become a 2-decade and a whole 2 decade and in all, from Owazurike down to where we are today. And those who claim IPOB, it has become over. It's going to 3 decades. A decade is 10 years. 10 years make 1 decade. 24 years is where what is happening. And when we look at them, he said there is nothing to change. How could you be doing one thing for roughly, okay, let us say Mazen and the Kano come up in 2012. Let's take it that way. From 2012 to 26, how many years you are doing one thing, no result? And the world is making it openly for you to know that this thing you are doing, you are only just making noise. There is no signature legal backup on it. We want a signature legal backup. We want a structure. We want a government. And we said that the government must be, because of our case, must be from exile. That the government must be from exile government with a signature of a formal declaration. Masob did not make a declaration. They did not even make a declaration. IPOB, BGC, all these groups you are seeing today, they are just starting you from scratch. It's just a simple example is that you went out for a job, you come back to house, and there is already made food for you. He said, no, I don't want this food, though. I don't want. I want to start from, what am I going to cook? Okay, I am going to cook egusi soup. Okay, 2 cups of egusi, 100 naira. I need to buy Maggi. I need to buy pepper. What vegetable do I need? Okay, I will buy onubu. I will buy onubu. I will buy meat, goat meat or cow meat. I will buy. You begin to think what you will buy. After thinking of it, writing it down, you now start going to market, and there is already made food in the house. Hey. And you says no. That is IPOB. That is BGC. That is Fallback Bridge. That is Masol. The only already made government of a country you have is United States of Biafra, leading by Deputy Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, no other one. The world knows it very loud and clear. It's because of your mentality. It's because of how you reason. It's because of what you think. That is why you are not thinking the way the world are thinking. That is why the South Africa are backward. That is why today people are shouting for up NEPA in this 21st century. That is where you can put all this group and you move on. That's why I don't care what they're doing on social media, because they can never stop this document. The signature of 550 something that signed that we want that our name, our country is United States of Biafra. That the government is seeking for recognition. Take it or you leave it. Continue with your hatred. Continue with your envy and jealousness. Continue with your negativity. Continue with your ignorance that is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. Take it. I said, leave it. You must continue.
Key historical transitions to statehood. 1. The Algerian model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free.
Are you hearing it? The transition, what you want to take from this from Algeria in Africa. In 1958, Algeria transitioned from guerrilla warfare to the war, to the government in exile. Their transition, they walk away from protest group. They stop protests. They stop guerrilla warfare. They stop armed struggle. They go into peaceful government in exile declaration of Algeria as a country. What is the name of the organization? The name of the organization they form is GPRA, is the name of the organization that transitioned into government in exile of what? Algeria Republic. They use GPRA, make a move, transition into government in exile. The government in exile of Algeria, after they have transitioned, they moved away from when they were answering GPRA, like IPOB, the same 4 words mean have their meaning. The Algeria transitioned from here to start answering government in exile when they were asking government in exile, the GPRA is always in brackets for them. It's always what? In brackets. And they are answering government in exile of Algeria Republic. Now, after they have transitioned into this government in exile, they met their formal declaration officially when they proven that we have stopped armed struggle, we have stopped protests, we are now a country. Our name of our country, we declare this word. Republic of what? Algeria, or Algeria Republic. They said it is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement. Their liberation ministry, their name is FLN, transitioned into a formal government before their country was free, before they got their country fully from the hands of France. This is how they move. They did not remain answering GPRA, one family, GPRA, organized. No, they transition and stop answering GPRA openly. They start answering government in exile. The government in exile make a declaration of what? Algeria Republic, like USB, like Simon Ebanjoko introducing from autopilot to Biafra government in exile Republic. And what again? Make a declaration of the United States of Biafra. This is how transition happen in every country. And they are giving us one from Africa first, Algeria. You IPOB, check the history, check the law, check the rules, check the protocol of having a new country. It's not by shouting IPOB with protest, with flag. No, that's not the street, making noise when people need their atmosphere to be calm. And we are there making noise.
They moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister.
Are you hearing it? They achieved the transition. Now they move away from liberation, guerrilla warfare. They move away from answering GPRA, start answering what? Listen. They moved from being viewed as an insurgency to a formal government with a prime minister and a foreign minister. With a prime minister and the what? Foreign minister. IPOB, what do you have? BGC, Masob, fake fallback bridging. Right, they move away with what? If there are people that the leader was arrested, another people will take over. Like what we did through our peaceful declaration, our DPM take over, the chief of staff take over because of the leader was in incarceration. That's what they call shift.
This allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals.
Are you hearing it? The result of that transition is the government in exile. They said this allows them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as they move away from their land. When are you going to do that, IPOB? The time is late. Overtake is allowed. The autopilot has overtaken everything out. Went in exile that make a peaceful declaration of a country called United States of Biafra. This is how the Algeria people did their own. And when they were fighting, France was busy occupying their territory until they get recognition, until they are in exile, until they grab their recognition. The recognition from the Arab and Asian nations is what forced France to exit from their territory. That is the same thing that USB is doing today through the leadership of Tongozo Arabeze. That is it. Now we have listened to Algeria. Let us see another one.
2. The Polish continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor. Perhaps
the Polish continuity from 1939 to 1990. The legal franca. Let us see what happened and how they transitioned.
Most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift.
Now, what is here? Perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through government in exile. You claim you declared Biafra. You claim you are a sovereignty. And Nigeria is all over your territory. Nigeria is here. Nigeria is that. Nigeria occupies military, police, everywhere. Can't you learn from how others do their own and go to that process that will end killing and unnecessary arrest, that will give the atmosphere very peacefully? Perhaps the most famously example of the maintaining sovereignty through government in exile. Maintain sovereignty through government in exile. The chief, listen.
When Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London.
Are you hearing it? The chief, when Poland was occupied during the Second World War, the government fled and re-established itself in London. That is where Poland, the name of country you hear today, Poland. This is how their movement started. This is how their movement started. There was a time they are still doing protests. There was a time the transition into government in exile that make what they said here, that make a re-establishment of their country in exile in London. They leave Poland, they travel to London, England, UK. That is, and today you are there from over 10 years. The only thing you do is to come out and protest. Why can't you ask them? You are in London. How do you do this? Why can't you meet Poland people? Ask them, how do you get to your country fully? How do you transition? Why do you shift? You don't know about that. The only thing you know is coming out on the street. Biafra wanting to that is all you know. You sing, you dance, that's why the word said that you are making noise.
Power of the declaration. Because they held the...
Listen, the power of the declaration of Poland re-established. Poland re-declared their country 2 times. The first one was lost. The second one, they make it right. That is our own case. Of the people of United States of Biafra re-declared November 29, 2024.
Official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years until Poland became democratic in 1990.
Are you hearing it? For 50 years, I was in exile. Our people, we don't learn, we don't read, and when somebody brings that, you don't even believe. You tell me he's making up a cock story. I don't know how many hours I have to write this with bushy brain. Only me to sit down and write this out and come and present to you here. Eh? So the power of the declaration, because they held their official cells and the continuational authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in exile, government in waiting status for 50 good years until Poland became democrats in 1990. Are you hearing it? This is how it happens. This is how the world, this is how countries begins. And look at Poland today. Many of you are in Poland. If you're not an IPOB member, if you are there, you are carrying protests. They maintain a structure of government in exile for 50 years. That is what Batoobie told you, that it might take us 20, 30, 40 years to chase Nigeria away in our territory. That part of message is not for you. After a peaceful declaration, that nobody should use arm, that if you are waiting for him to throw one shot of gun to Nigeria, you're wasting your time, that you can't see it anymore. That you're going to legitimize Nigeria through a legal means. Is it not true? This is how others achieve their own. I have given you Algeria, I have given you Poland. Let's hear the number 3.
3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned.
How many countries here? They mention here. They mention Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania use a unique strategies. They argue that the country will never legally be part of the USSR. Like we argue that we can never be part of Nigeria.
From mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions.
I'm hearing it. A large protest at a time. They moved away to make war, to make the redeclaration again. These 3 countries, despite being exist, but when they decided they want to walk away from the USSR, they start protests. After some time, they transition and make what? Redeclaration of their country. Because by that time they have trying to exit, it's no longer exist. They have lost their country. They have to go into redeclaration back. That is why we have to redeclare the lost country by to become a lifetime history.
Legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community.
That is why I told you that our own case cannot be like any other ones, because the new one takes time. But you see here that these people that make redeclaration, they get recognition quickly. Our own case is redeclaration, not declaration. Our own case is what? Declaration. Sorry, redeclaration, not declaration. This is how the world, this is how others have achieved their country. This is how they transition. This is how they are who they are today. It's not about you carrying placards on the street. It's not about you protesting. People move away. Do the normal thing. The normal thing you refuse to do. And you don't know how to do it. And if someone volunteer himself and do this for you, instead of you to thank the person, instead of you to embrace the person, instead of you to join, you are there answering IPOB. You that believe in Albert Obi, when we're going in exile, he told us that we need to go to Finland until we make this peaceful declaration. Without that, we are making noise. Look at it here. The time for noise making must stop. And USB declared it has stopped all the noise making. The legal hook, by framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state rather than creating of a new one. They prove Lithuania, Livet, and all of them. Then what happened? They prove that they are not declaring a new country, rather they are restoring their lost country back. And what happened? They said this grants them rapid international recognition. That is why you can see USB map in the world map this time around. Biafran map in the world map. Because of we did what? Re-identification of the lost map, re-identification of the lost territory. We have brought it back through our peaceful re-declaration. This is what others has done in the past. Let's go to number 4.
Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29th, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face.
Now, please, tag IPOB people. Tag them as solve. If you have a friend who believes in IPOB, just share this post. Tell them, please, brother, join here. Listen from here right now. Tag them. Let them come and listen. Tag them. Let them come and listen how it works. Why they're supposed to thank Otongozo Rabeze and embrace USB declared. This is only way to have a new nation. And this has solved a 3 major problems. Now, why the transition work on the international law? The 3 pillars, this direction is solved for all of us. Those people refuse to accept. 1, listen to this. When a group make a formal declaration, let me tell you, like the one on November 20, 2024, and the famously government form, and the forms a government in exile, they solve three major problems that the Protestants only group faces. The three major problems that if you are IPOB organization, if you are BGC, if you are MASOB, if you are fake fallback bridge, the problem you are going to face. We that believe in our peaceful declaration, the declaration of November 2024 has solved the problem. And you will be undermining this. You will be undermining it. While the world is not undermining it. While the world sees as the only solution. The world sees November 29, 2024 as the solution solver of all that you have been protesting along and all that has been arrested, put in prison because of the name Biafra. It has solved the problem. Listen.
The no man's land problem. International.
Number one, the no man's land problem. A peaceful redeclaration of the November 29, 2024 has solved the problem. Listen.
Or, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents.
Are you listening? International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to what? To exit for a state, to stand for a state to become organized, to stand for a state to be organized. A government. What government? From the up to where we are on number 4, they say what? Government in exile that make a formal peaceful declaration. Okay. A protest group has no legal standing. A protest group, IPOB protest group, has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobby, and sign document. IPOB organization, any protest group can never sign any documents. You cannot use the name of IPOB ID card to open bank in any country where you are. The answer is no. But with USB ID card, you will do that. With USB ID card, you will do it. It's not about what you are thinking. It's not about your structure. It's not about the messenger. It is about the message, the rules, the protocol, the template of the message is what matters, not how you think, what you feel. Let's continue. The problem, number 2.
Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day 1.
Are you hearing it? This is also when your leader is being arrested, the office to pilot the affair very fast if it was established. What was the office? Listen. Number 2, the leadership problem. The leadership problem. Listen. Protest movements are often viewed as a leaderless or character by character. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, if the leader was arrested, the movement tells the world we are ready to govern on day 1. That is what USB, through the office of our deputy prime minister, Dr. Musa Abeze, do they say that you have to change your prime minister? Or the answer is no, that you have to introduce either chief of staff or deputy prime minister specifically. This is how the transition works. And that is how the problem of tagging you insurgency, terrorist group organization, and all of them. That is how it ends, through a government in exile. That is what ends it up for you.
3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing.
Are you hearing it? I hope you are getting it down to any level to understand it. That is very simple. That is we that are the one making Biafra as a country very hard. But through our peaceful declaration, we have made it very easy. Now, number 3, the prevention of what? Hijacking the movement, like Ogen, Kira, and any other group. You can never hijack this movement. Why? Without a formal government declaration document, any individual can claim to speak for movement. Do you hear it? IPOB claiming, speaking for Biafra. You are the word that you are claiming. The only one they know that is not claiming that is the legitimate government is what? The one of the United of Biafra that made this a peaceful declaration. That is the one the world are know as the one that are the legal legitimacy, the authority that's so called for anything to sign the document. And what happened? They said a former government in waiting creates a ban of protest by law. Law protects USB, they are declared. I have read it out to you how many laws that protect the Musa Rabeze and laws that protect our peaceful declaration. They said you cannot hijack it. That all you are doing now is claiming. You see, BGC is claiming. You see, Fallback BG is claiming. You see, Masob claiming. You see, IPOB, whatever you are doing, you are just claiming. But you can, they call it what? That you can never hijack the movement because of what? The peaceful declaration document being signed by the indigenous people. That you will never, that whatever you are doing is we are claiming. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals like IPOB. Like I said, DPM love all of you. If you are all of you by now, I would have banned and denounced all of you. The government in exile has a full right because of what? Peaceful declaration document with the signature of the people to denounce that he never know any of you. That none of you, and our DPM is doing it well. She denounced it in a peaceful manner. Me, I will use violence on it. Me, I will use violence on all of you. I won't just leave it like that. But because of she's a mother of peace. And that's why they say that they prefer when a woman is leading a movement of a new country because she always remains a peace. She remains a lovely peace mother. He will make the movement to be very peaceful. That is what our DPM is doing. That is why all of you are ranting and shouting on social media today. That is why you are ranting and shouting will not stop anything. When you continue ranting, continue shouting, continue claiming what you are not, continue claiming what you are not, it could not stop us from moving. It will not going to stop us. And never can it stop us from moving. Who attempt to represent the case without administrative backing. You IPOB, there is no administrative backing, legal backing for you. You BGC, you Masob. Is that woman called Nkiru who is speaking grammar? Don't mind them. They are just making noise. Tag Nkiru to come and hear this. Tag Nkiru to come and hear this. And after the program, I am going to make a post on our WhatsApp group. Please cut the program, cut it and share it. Share it to different WhatsApp group in short form, so others will read. They will, because our people will read a small something, but when it is big, they don't read it. So I will try when I'm posting, I will post it in a small form. Even as I'm on this program, I can also be doing that. So people can see what it's all about having a new country. It's not about, it's not what we think, my people. It's not how we feel. It is about doing the right thing that the law gives you the right to do. Not what you feel, not how you want it, not I think that's how it's supposed to be. It's not giving a new country. Because of there is what? There is a full legal backing. Because of there is what again? Because there is peaceful declaration document. Nobody, he said that declaration document prevents any other group to come to hijack the movement. That you that is holding the document of the peaceful declaration on your hand is one that the law has backed up already. You are only the one that the law has backed up. You have a backup from the law through the peaceful declaration of a government in exile. Every country, as you're hearing it here, is here a time they post and the result of when they shifted is only in this movement. People refuse to shift. People refuse to adhere to the better instructions and they follow the reality on ground. People refuse to do that because of they want to make money. They want to feel we are relevant, we are in charge, we are the one that bringing Biafra. This Biafra history is on our name. Why you don't know the road? Why there's nothing that what we are doing on the line of the having a new country? You are out of it. You're not even close. You are only in the close of seeing you as a noise maker social media. That is only how the world sees you. And you want to continuously acting in that way. How that way the world sees you as a noise making. That the only thing you know how to do is to make noise. And that is what you wish yourself. Honestly, I won't stop you from what you wish yourself. But the issue is that you cannot use what you wish yourself to come and disturb us. No. And my happiness is that the world make it openly. That a peaceful declaration document has made it openly that nobody will hijack the movement. Then, when are you going to stop your noise making social media? When? Those you are coming out to see have understand that only where you belong is noise making, and you continue. Are you not being ashamed that they see you as somebody who is a noise maker? Are you not ashamed that the only way the world sees you, that the only thing you can do is to make noise? Can't you stop making noise by yourself? Can't you? When do you intend to stop that? When? Well, we continue.
Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law.
Are you hearing it? Now, look at the comparison of between a protester and the government in exile. Look at it. Future. Protest movement. Government in exile. 3 categories. Now on this. The future. Legal status of protest movement. Civil unrest is your legal status. Civil unrest is what? Your legal status. Government in exile. Sovereign entity in waiting. Sovereign entity in what? In waiting. Now, international goal, media coverage, protest group, only media coverage. Then, government in exile, diplomatic recognition is their own. Which one is the better between these two? Now, primary tool, marching on the streets, diplomatic and lobby. The world give a Protestant group marching on the street, and they give government in exile declaration and the lobby for diplomatic recognition. Now, accountability. Protest movement, none. Government in exile, bounding by international law. Bound by international law is what is binding government in exile. Not how you feel, my people. You see that you continue protesting, you are destroying yourself. You are bringing shame, and the world look at you as what? As a noise making. Look at this thing. Protest movement, civil unrest, noise making. Government in exile, sovereign entity in waiting. Sovereign entity in waiting. Protest movement, civil unrest. This is IPOB, MASOB, BGC, and all of you in your organization. Now, media coverage, where they give you as the only thing you do is to come to media and post pictures and videos of what you are doing. They call it what? Media coverage. Now, for the government in exile, they call it what? Diplomatic recognition is what they give to government in exile. The last, accountability for the protest movement, none. Government in exile, bounding by international law is what gives you morale to do what you are doing more and more. Just continue. Strategic notes. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests are not successful to prove popular support, but use the government in exile to prove administrative readiness. Use the government in exile to prove administrative what? Readiness, not protest group. IPOB. One provides noise. Protest group provides noise. Government in exile, the other provides the signature of diplomatic recognition. Government in exile. These are how the world see everything, and these are criteria of the world into what we are doing. Please, I urge you to like and share the program as we are moving into section 2 of the program. Please, I urge you to please hit the like button. Your comment is making the message to go viral. Please, more comments. The more you are commenting, the more the message is going. The more you are liking, the more people are getting notification. Please, because we want those that are making noise to know that we are making noise. We want you that believe USB to know that you are on the legal legitimacy side, that nobody will touch you and nobody will stop our recognition, because that is the one that the world organized. I'm going to play it once again, but I urge you I urge you to do what? To like and share the program, please. Mom, happy you might see you. Comforts, I see you. Thank you so much. Listen to this again. How countries group has transitioned from protest into a government in exile, which is a country in waiting.
Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government? The history of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence. The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative. Key historical transitions to statehood. 1. The Algerian model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free. The shift. They moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister. Result. This allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals. 2. The Polish continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor, perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift. When Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London. The power of the declaration. Because they held the official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years until Poland became democratic in 1990. 3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned from mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions. The legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community. Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face. The no man's land problem. International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents. Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day one. 3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing. Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law. Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government?
I hope you have listened to it. Yes, there is one comment here. Our own will never be different. That is why I told you, we will not achieve this Biafra without all this history repeating. The number one history was, yes, a time will come when there will be protest. Number 2, a time will come when you will transition. After 3 years, you're supposed to transition into government in exile. Immediately you transition to government in exile, within that year you transition, you need to make a peaceful declaration or re-declaration. You had it here that Poland make a re-declaration. They run to London when their land was occupied by enemies. You heard about Algeria. That's why I give you one in Africa, one in Europe, one in Asia. I have given you 3 places where this has happened. So this noise of you, IPOB of DOS, this noise of you, BGC, this noise of you, fake fallback bridge, they told you openly that because of that peaceful re-declaration that happened on the November the 29th, 2024, that nobody, one of human, can hijack. And the government has right to distance themselves from any group claiming that they are agitating for this Biafra movement. That what you are doing, that you are just doing what? That you are just claiming who you are not. That the government has right to distance themselves from you. And because of it, that nobody will hijack the move because of the, that is what our DPM told you. You see this document in my hand. You will never smell it. You will never do what? Smell it. That is what she told all of you. And the world is moving. The world is transitioned. The world is from government in exile. And this 21st century, it has been well opened that 21st century centralized on a peaceful declaration. Oluchiwa God, I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oluchiwa God. Good evening. From here, I have entered from afternoon to evening. That is how it happens. You see the transition, and people refuse to make a change. It is very, very important that we all understand it. Yes, we are going into session 2 of the program. We are going into it. Now, my question, to give my answer, my question was, why organization with only protests in the eyes of the international community view as a sound of making noise in the view of international community? In their view, why did the UN, EU, AU, Commonwealth, Icj, and all of them view protest group as those that are making noise? Listen to this.
The perception of noise versus diplomacy in the international community often comes down to how a movement balances grassroots mobilization with institutional engagement. While protests are vital for visibility, international bodies, like the UN or foreign ministries, typically prioritize movements that can demonstrate a transition from agitation to administration. Here is why organizations that rely solely on protests are often dismissed by the international community. 1. The preference for state-like behavior. International law and diplomacy are built on the framework of the Montevideo Convention. For the international community to take a movement seriously, they look for more than just public outcry. They look for defined territory and population, clear evidence of who is being represented and where, administrative capacity, a functional government structure, even in exile, that can draft policy, manage resources, and engage in high-level correspondence. Diplomatic engagement, moving beyond the streets to engage in formal lobbying, filing legal briefs, and meeting with foreign officials. 2. The stability filter. Global powers generally prioritize stability. Protests by nature are disruptive. If an organization only protests without offering a clear, sophisticated alternative for governance or a roadmap for a peaceful transition, international actors may view the movement as a source of instability rather than a viable political partner. 3. Messaging and professionalism. In the eyes of international observers, there is a distinct difference between mobilization and representation. Noise, chaotic messaging, lack of centralized leadership, or purely reactive demonstrations. Voice, submitting documented reports on human rights, engaging with the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, in the US, and maintaining official diplomatic channels. 4. The role of governance in exile. Successful movements often use a dual-track strategy. While protests maintain internal morale and local visibility, the government in exile performs the quiet work of sovereignty. This includes issuing official declarations and charters, appointing designated leaders, such as a chief of staff or prime minister, to act as the sole authorized voice for the movement, protecting the movement's brand and assets from being hijacked by unauthorized individuals. Summary table. Protest versus diplomacy. Feature. Protest only, viewed as noise. Institutional approach, viewed as voice. Primary goal. Attention and disruption. Recognition and legitimacy. Output. Slogans and marches, policy papers, and legal filings. Communication. Social media and megaphones. Diplomatic missions and official letters. Target. The general public, governments and international bodies. By moving from a purely protest-based model to one that emphasizes administrative authority and official representation, a movement shifts from being a noisemaker to a recognized political entity. How do you think a movement can best prove its administrative readiness to a skeptical foreign government?
Without a structure of a government in exile, without a peaceful declaration, you remain a noise making. You are what? Continue making the noise. And the word said, there is no amount of noise which you have protest that will trigger. Rather, that they see you as somebody who is causing instability. They see you as somebody who is causing civil unrest. They see you as a sound of a noise making. Is it because of you can't find out what it takes to be a newcomer? That is why you're making social media. This after our declaration, we have moved above from what we think, what we know. We have moved into the template of the world. And look at the template of the world. You go 419. Come and see template to how Biafra see a country. Tell me the one the government of USB is not doing. Yes, we put our link in case you want to join us. The floor is open in case if anyone decides to join us, that is the link to join. So When you view and listen to this, tell me, which templates are you looking again? Is it not the best template to follow? Is it not what about OBA mean? That the road to achieve Biafra, that the template to achieve Biafra is in the open. With this, it's not really in the open. With this, the template is no longer is not in the open for us to achieve Biafra as a country. For those who handbend continuously agitating and making on social media. You see this BGC, is that woman called Amaka that are working for under Amaka Jere? These are criminals. He said now they are, last time I listened from Brother Kai, he said they are going through Montevideo Convention. Which Montevideo Convention? The Montevideo Convention said that you must have a government that make a peaceful declaration. Okay, I remember. They are the one who will come out and come and do another declaration for them. And they said, there is no any other declaration anywhere that will supersede what happened November 2024. That has superseded all of them because it has gone viral into every archive, into every documentation digital. It has been there. That's why when you recite the that a peaceful declaration happened on November 29, 2024. That is the only one, no other one. Do not panic. Do not panic. Do not be deceived. This is what the world is looking at from us. Instead of making noise on social media and how they see everything between a government in exile and how they see you protest in exile also. You that are protesting in England, you that are protesting in Germany, you that are protesting in Ireland, are you not in exile? You don't know what is called exile, and you are shouting that government. You have a government in exile, and you don't know there is a law, there is a protocol, there is how others have achieved. Now, our DPM is repeating all the good histories of achieving Biafra as a country through US government structure, whether I like it or not. And that is the only legal legitimacy government you have in the world, that the world has already accepted. It was not, you are not the one to accept. Another man's food is another man's food poison. Is it not true? What you don't like, someone might like it. What you reason as this thing is not making sense. Others reason as this is the most important sense. What you don't view as something quality is what someone else view as something quality. That is it. And when it comes to the rules of engagement of the international global community, Africa remains one of the international global community. They are not local. In the view of all, is what you must work on. That is what USB are declared is working on. Not what you think, not what you told us to do, not how you feel. Is the reality on ground. The truth is bitter. The truth is very, very bitter. That is where we are at this point. The truth is what? Very, very bitter. Listen to this again.
The international community views the transition from a quote, to a government in waiting as a critical shift from activism to statehood. While protests signal popular dissatisfaction, a formal declaration of independence or restoration signals the intent to be a peer among nations. Here is why the formal declaration and the government in waiting structure are treated with more weight by the international community. 1. The legal signal of intent. In international law, a formal declaration is a unilateral act of legal significance. It moves a movement from being a domestic issue, which other countries often avoid to respect non-interference, to an international legal claim. The claim of sovereignty. By making a formal declaration, the movement is officially asserting that the previous legal order is no longer valid for them. Foundational document. A declaration acts as the birth certificate of the state in waiting. It gives international lawyers and diplomats a specific document to analyze against the Montevideo Convention, territory, population, government, and capacity for relations. 2. Establishing sovereign personality. The international community does not recognize protests. It recognizes states and governments. The organ of the state, a government in exile, GIE, acts as the official organ that represents the state. When a DIE is properly structured, with a chief of staff, a prime minister, and specific departments, it demonstrates administrative capacity. Diplomatic immunity. Once a government is recognized, even if in exile, its officials may claim certain privileges and immunities under customary international law that are never granted to protest leaders. 3. Creating a counter-narrative of legitimacy. Foreign governments are often risk-averse. They do not want to support rebels, but they might support a legitimate government that has been displaced or is restoring its rights. The de jure claim. A formal declaration allows a movement to argue that they are the de jure, rightful government, even if they are not yet in de facto physical control. Clear leadership. A government in waiting provides a single authorized point of contact. This prevents the noise of multiple voices and ensures that when a foreign power wants to discuss policy or human rights, they know exactly who speaks for the movement, e.g., the specific leader identified in the restoration documents. 4. Transition from rights to responsibilities. Protest groups ask for rights.
The world
Governments
identified by a declaration document who is the leader. The UN, the EU, the OAU, all of them identified when if they decide to organize a new state, not a new fallback bridge, because it's never become a state. A state is what? United States of Biafra, USB. This is the only government in exile in the world, you know. Out of the 75 exile governments in the world, USB is the number 4. Not by gragra, not by name, but through a document. And the word called the declaration document, the authentic and the original document, that designed that is from where they choose who is the leading government and who is the leader. And when you go to every other document, you find out they have already acknowledged as the head of state, the deputy prime minister of United States of Biafra. I am not from fallback bridge. I can never, God forbid, to fall back. Fallback is repeating class. I did not repeat when I was in school. The 2 schools I went into, I never repeated class. I was moving ahead. That is how it is. So the world knows the truth. And how we reason is not how the world reason. That is why I'm bringing how the world reason. And the word said to clarify the document that the name of who made a declaration is the one that they are going to recognize, not the other way around.
Accept responsibilities. International recognition is a two-way street. Treaty capacity. A government in waiting signals that it is ready to be bound by international treaties, human rights standards, and economic agreements. Law and order. By declaring a government, the movement is telling the world, we have the laws and the administrative structure to prevent chaos if the current regime falls. Summary of the shift. Phase. Focus. International perception. Protest phase. Emotional appeal/visibility. Internal domestic unrest. Noise. Declaration phase. Legal appeal/intent. Assertion of sovereignty. A case to be heard. Gov in waiting phase. Administrative readiness. A viable alternative. A partner in waiting. Note. The declaration on November 29, 2024, serves as this specific legal anchor. It transformed the movement's narrative from one of grievance to one of formal state restoration, providing the international community with a specific administrative framework to engage with. How do you
I want to read out here openly to you again. Note, the declaration of November 29, 2024 served as the specific legal anchor. It transforms the movement narrative from one of the grievances to one of the former states. A state, not fallback bridge. A state, you must be a state before other states will talk to you. And that is why you make the declaration. The people of Algeria use a name, Iccpr to make declaration of Republic of Algeria. Finally, in 1990, they grabbed international recognition. This is how other countries in Africa. And when you're on this, you heard about Poland and all of them. They never re-declared and fall back. When Poland exits from Poland and travel to London, they remain from 1939 to 1990 through a government in exile and answering a name, Republic of what? Poland, not Republic of Fallback. They claim that we are a country. That is the word used, a state, to address a country in the context. Now, when they continuously standing on that, the world start looking at them. Poland lost their, they said, we lost our country because of those who occupy our territory. We went to re-declare. Lithuania, Estonia, and the others, they did what? They also make their group their declaration of their nation, not to declare and fall back. No, they declare and move forward and remain as a state. And the only bridge we know is the bridge registered by Simon Heber, who is under Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, under the USB declared, which we use it to make a peaceful declaration. If IPOB was the one who made declaration, there will remain IPOB in brackets, and the name is Biafra, not IPOB as a country, not bridge, not fallback. I ask question, please tell us, Daniel, tell us one country that has declared their independence and fallback. Just one. Mention the name of the country. I mentioned Algeria declared their own and move forward and answer the name of a state. Namibia, that got their independence from South Africa, declare it and move on as a country, not as a organization anymore. Then Eritrea in Africa, I've mentioned 3. Then going to India, their own, check their history of India. Going to a country like Bangladesh, check their history. Going to Africa again, to Kenya, check their history, and stop being deceived. Stop being deceived. Your ignorance is not an eyes of the law. And once you declare and fall back, you remain what? You remain organization. And you and your Ogenkere claiming, that's why they said that who made that declaration and the whole document of declaration are the one of government in exile that are not making noise. That any other body who want to claim, like what Ogenkere is claiming today, the fallback group they are claiming, never is anywhere at all. On this junction, I leave this mic for Mommy Ojugo. Please, welcome to the platform and have the mic.
Okay, good morning, Radio TV, and those in the comment section. I actually have a question. When you said, I don't know which group, that's planning for convention.
BGC is planning for another convention now to go and declare Biafra again.
Where and how is that allowed? Can the Biafra government stop that from happening?
No. See, now I brought you to the last program of Namibia that has 8 groups. Remember, out of the 8 groups, one of them went back to do another declaration. Out of them, one of them went back to claim that they are declaring Namibia again. And when the international community comes to organize them, they told them, please, we have already have a document of declaration in our office, which is by Africa organization that they use on their own. Then that is only government we know. We can only ask you, go back and apologize. If they welcome you, go. If they give you punishment, take it. So the government does not have right to stop anybody to declaring anything. No, we don't.
Okay. I like that. I like that because our government documents are already on the table. Okay. So they can go and do their jamboree. Okay.
Yes. They can go on and do whatever they want to do. Whatever they are doing is what they count as what? Making noise. And they see them. Remember that they said that anybody who went after declaration to go back and do another one, that you are a puppet from the formal oppressor that is oppressing your people, that you are a betrayer to your people. That the word, that is why sometimes I would say, I don't really have time to listen to all this because I already know that if you listen to this program, the first session itself, he who has the first declaration document with a signature is a real government in waiting that the world are going to talk with, not any other group.
Okay.
So it is clearly. It's clearly. And when you look at the criteria, what they're giving us here, you find out that the USB have met all these criteria, working towards the protocol of the world.
Yes. Okay, I just want to confirm that, and then so that they can go and enjoy make their noise and enjoy the jamboree, and then hopefully by the time they get to the door, they will refer them back, and then maybe that's when it will clear them in their eyes. It's good sometimes you allow a fool to fool himself to the highest and then fall from the ladder. So I think that's what these people they desire. Ogen Kere for sure is not looking for any declaration or anything. His own is Washington DC, and that's where he belongs, Washington DC. But this other group that is Galavante, I think they are, I don't even know where they belong, 100 men or CCC, whatever that is. I don't understand them. They don't reason. Myself to this. What did they reflect on? How can we get this recognition? What research? This man that handled myself, he said he's a lawyer or a lawyer or something like that. What does he have in agenda? Does he know that, because I think it was this year or something that they presented, is it a prime minister or somebody in the homeland? So do they actually go into fighting as educated person to know what are the steps? Because like PM said, this is not hidden. It's in an open space. It's for you to dig in, to go find out, to go make a research. So that there's nothing like setting up a goal. You set up a goal where you're going, and not that decided, that way decided for years and years. So my prayer is for Mazen Namdekalo and Simon Ekpa to come out, the PM, to come out and join, the government. I think that would be part of the thing that will unite all of us, if not all of us, at least most of us together. And then those that want to go do convention, I would like them also to go do the convention. By the time they get to the door and they're sent back, maybe I think these experiences are good to clear them very well, so that they understand that they go nowhere. They go nowhere. So I thank you for this education that you are really imparting on us. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, man. The thing is, one thing I want us to know is this. We will not achieve Biafra recognition without us having different groups. Namibia has 9 groups after their peaceful declaration. Yes, senior comrade is here. Oluchiwa God, good evening from my location. Please have the mic.
Did you know? I don't know. Good evening from your side. This our side is 5 minutes past 2 o'clock.
Okay, here is
Okay,
evening. Here
yeah,
is after 4. Here is after 4.
I greet you, Madam Ojugo. Mazi, why, I don't know how to put it, but why sometimes I come out to talk? Not because of the reason sometimes I come out to talk is because a lot of people are watching this program in the homeland. Because I remember one time one of our brother came here and said you are his brother, that you should continue doing what you are doing, that they are watching you. Say people are paying attention to you seriously. And United States of Biafra. You see, Mazi, like you rightly said, document is the ultimate. Thank God, Mazi, as I keep saying it, thank God that when Biafra was redeclared, imagine if they take the video of the redeclaration, which they have also taken to submit in many places. Imagine they will be seeing these people now celebrating. Imam Madhab Bankur, everybody using USB. Look at the excitement. Imagine people will be looking at this, and at the end, all of a sudden, they saw a document bearing a Imam Madhabu or any other signature. They'll be like, exactly what you said that happened in Namibia. That name you call SWAPO. You know, when I was growing up as a kid, I was listening to the activities of SWAPO. You know,
Yes.
and then this name was a very popular name. There's another one in Zimbabwe led by, you know, this man who just retired. So, this document that was generated, you remember what Obatobe said? He said, if this is not done, say all what we are doing is noise.
Yes.
And Obatobe said something that everybody, I don't know if people still remember. He said Nigeria knew where he is heading to. He said they knew where he was heading to. That is why then they made many attempts to come to Finland to do something against him. If some get to Denmark, they were stuck there. He will announce it that 3 persons, how many persons they are now in Denmark, they can't come to Finland. He said he's waiting for them. He said Nigeria already knew where he's heading to, and they want to stop this. That was the time he said that the way he's watching them, he might declare this Biafra before seconds. So, my brother, we only watch. I don't know. We know your coming is not by accident. All this thing that you are preaching here, Obatobe have researched these things and know that this is a way to go. But if he's here today, he will be the most happiest person with this your project. He will just see that he will put your program. When you speak, he will analyze it. When you speak, he will tell people what you are talking, because sometimes to people it looks strange. But this words is just like even my kids now that at the age of 16 playing outside. If you put this in, they will understand it. Now, compare with these people who said they are BGs or whatever they call their name. In fact, if there is consequences, I'm not sure they'll even be thinking of that. But because there's something he said when our sister, you know, Ojugo asked you something that you said, no. The first thing is the first redeclaration. And the word said that first redeclaration is supersede every other redeclaration.
That is they call it authentic and original document.
Yes.
That any other one coming after that is fake, and is coming.
My
from
brother,
the
let me tell you
office
today why this thing I believe it 1,000,000%. Because that I have said this before. That's one of our brother here. When we gave him I can't stop saying this. When we gave him document before, it was 12-page letter document. Before the documents now have changed to digital, and it's now 32-page. But when it was 12-page, something happened. This our brother and the lawyer, man, I have said it before. They went, and I don't know where they went and printed the document from Biafran Republic government in Exile. And inside that document, it has Ogenkere name. But something happened. When he told me he was refused, I asked him why, and I said, the letter we gave you, did you hand it over to your lawyer? He said, no. I said, why? Now, Mazi, when he took that letter, he did not hand to the lawyer. I think what he did there was, he was waiting for that first document to see the result. So eventually, the document came with the deportation. Now, when he handed over the 12-page documents, now the court now make proceedings, you know, as they do for court, reading. They have to read that to you, why we refuse you, what you did wrong, what you did not do. Now, when he did that, I asked him, please, can you send the documents to me, the proceedings of the court, why you were refused and why they will give you deportation? Mazi, when he said, anytime you see any document, they refer to new element. in law, new element means an authentic, verifiable document.
Document, yes.
So what they said to this, our brother, I still have it. They said, now you brought this bearing the name of Ogenkere, Biafra Republic Government in Exile. Mazi, it is specified that they said it cannot be verified.
Okay.
But that is the first reading. Then they come to a conclusion that because of the new element, what is the new element? Which is the United States of Biafran document. They said, because of this new element, if you have brought this new element forward before, that they would have given him protection. Now, when he called me, I asked him, tell them, if you go there, tell them that why you did not mention it before, but now we're trying to save him anyway. Why you did not mention it? Because you were afraid. To be honest, he never told me he did something, and that is one thing about our people. You are working with the United States of Biafra, and you are handing a document of, and I keep telling them here that there is no table, there is no table in this Republic of Ireland that have not taken document of United States of Biafra to anybody. You can argue it, go and send their own and see what they say to you. Both the Justice Ministry, both the Finance Ministry, both the Immigration. The United States of Biafra document is in every table. We even gave 450 pages of abuses to Simon, to Obato, to Nnamdi Kanu, 42 pages, 450 pages of document we submit to international body here, like World Health here. Sorry, what do you call it? Human rights. Their headquarters here is in Ireland. One the bond you able me how heavy all day. Anga would a dostra hanada. So if anybody, this thing you are saying, let me conclude. This is our brother. Now, what they did was they told him, I still have it. They said, if you have this document before this first one, which is the one he brought from, I don't know how he got it. He still have not told me. He said it's his life, but I don't believe that. They said, if you have brought this one, the new element has coat of arms, and inside that document, look inside the background, you will see symbol underground, like security symbol of United States of Biafra. You understand? It's like, document with security. If you watch it background, you see the underground that is coat of arms, that is symbols of the declaration, symbols of the Biafran, like what do you call it, the map is in the background of the document. Now, what they said new element was, they said, they wrote it that they say one is verifiable, that is website there, that is phone number to call, that is an email to ask questions. They said is verifiable, but that first one they said is unverified. Now, Iccpr coming to me again. Oh, they have sent me the protection again. We begin to work again we have given him this new document. And what USB government did, I want to tell you today, everybody listening. What they do was to digital, they put the document now in digital. Now, they give you document now with your photograph, like an identity. The moment you scan it, when all your this thing will appear. The way it is in Europe. So it's like a data. So, and it's the first one, the first 2-3 pages of that 32 document. The first one bears your face. They call it citizenship certificate. In that citizenship certificate, your name is there. And that is a scam. They call it Q, something that you can, the moment you put them in any system, your details will appear. One, give it to United States of Biafra. Dr. Ngozi Arabeze and Minister of Foreign Affairs, one India go far. I am being honest with you. They have gone far, and we can stop it. So anybody with any documents, they contrary to USB here, any place in the world, my whole land, let me not say in the world, Europe, my brother, they will not, it will all get in, so instead of helping you. The only authentic document in circulation is United States of Biafra. One, that is address, that is website, that is phone number, that is email, and this is what Europe will use. Any document they cannot verify, when they forget it, that is Europe work with documents, and they work with verifiable documents. So that's what I want to say today. For those people who said they want to redeclare, like you rightly said, they can go ahead and make up their own document. They can even make another constitution. They can even make another charter. They can even make another signatories. It's up to them. They are free to do whatever they want to do. But the first declaration, and let me conclude, remember, when Ojukwu made the declaration, Mazi, he received the recognition.
Exactly.
Because Tanzania, all those countries recognized him, even a Guinea, I think some Equatorial Guinea. So it was, they recognized him as a state, as a country, as a state. Yes. But because they were not this vast in this knowledge, this age, like you call it 21st century today. If Ojukwu have moved on, have started in this level, by now we will not be talking about redeclaration. This Biafra today would have come to be, but because their knowledge, they were educated, fine. But this level now we are is beyond them, no matter their education. And if it was, this system was in there then, I think people like Ojukwu with the intellect, the Philip, they will also key in, but this thing was not made available to them.
That is why we lose the war, because there's no social media.
Yes.
That is number one thing that leads to losing of the war.
Yeah, that was why Hamadike was screaming when he came. He would be cursing people. Go to Twitter. Go to Twitter. If you don't come here and ask me a question, go to Facebook. He was shouting. We never knew that this is the reason he was saying, because he wanted us to take over the media space. And Mazi, today, to be honest with you, we have. USB have. Anything you bring to the table, you will be debunked. Everything you bring to the table, you will be debunked. So I want to thank you for all your work. I'll be heading to work soon. I say, let me use this opportunity to tell our people who are still on the side waiting for Nnamdi Kanu and waiting for Simon. Simon come out, he key in. Already he know what had happened. All those people talking garbage. My brother, I know in contact with Uche Hana Koeri. Heavyweight na feed on ya. Onya heavyweight. And the last not get me with to promote on. And that is too small for what he's doing. Because our guys don't with these people. And when you see when they get onya kwoko, game na on the level onya no na close. So ya nwa agaghị apụta nkwore ha okwu, it's not possible. Uche ihe o mege karịrị ihe ndị a ikwuru ndị okwu, ọ dịghị possible. So we want to thank you, my brother. Continue to do what you are doing, but like I always say, we need you in Europe. That's where we need you. I want to tell every meaning Biafrans, anybody who have any opportunity, like to make you not leave Bahrain. We want this to happen. We don't want you in America. We want you in Europe, because we know you get why, according to Mazikai. Us, you get why. You get why. Eba uhebe na do mad haka no. Eba ihe osoro gigi ukwu ichoge ponu zo ge call big fat. Ma ka is mad ekpuchi aka n'imi e gafere. No, one thing cause I na train you ga hu onye ocha call fat do. So one I chọrọ na Europe, we need you in Europe.
Plan on na say na chọrọ ya na Europe na US. Adekwa udo adekwa. We plans.
Yeah, I know. Europe, America chọkwara ya, because I will pay ndị shukwu na America chọkwara ndị USB. So, but the thing I'm just saying is, anywhere between Europe and America, this project must continue. This project must go on. But the level of always not fine, but on now, opposite Europe. Big money. Then Bureau of my name,
Chino.
Yes.
Okay.
So Biafra, we need to make this happen, and actually call this year, call happen Bahrain. Mother got around 14 hours, 15 hours, still, but we need him na Europe. We get the money where. Yeah, Bahana is Bahana Biafra.
It's like Chino we're us.
Yes, now. Chino na hospital now.
Ah.
Yes, agency. I'm trying to go a lot of contact. When did not water people, na Europe. And I get Africa, I've made some contact, but in my hand, we keep trying until Chino na hospital. Chino we care. He works in the hospital.
Okay. Maybe I mean Kaipa.
Yeah, my dear. The very, very important. I need report. When they not Sweden from then everybody truck go she so we're trying to see how it can happen before this year runs out. What about to be now? So I need Zonia na Bahrain. Or the one had the Arab war there, man.
Mba. Only the report because only did like. In fact, ebe ga-enwe nnọọ nnukwu bọọdụ na-akụzi ya
eziokwu, that is an ọrụ naanị.
But that was what I thought you were looking for that system that time. That one that, one guy on YouTube that has it. On a teacher, it's like, it's right, they're writing it on the board.
Yeah. I know the guy. I know him very well. That was the target, but honestly, when you go, or wouldn't even kind of social media. Everybody know where to see where there is,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
okay.
I'm gonna one of our beloved brother na me. Onye ka hey divinity nwoke ka ihe o mere na Chineke nna. Maazị Chino Elohim, the King of Kings. That popped again at Bahrain. And if Jesus if he live it, you must leave Bahrain. I need to get in America or Europe, these two places. So one banana my program map na gone my basa 10 abali.
You do it. More I can see opposites now and say about believe to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. But
okay.
So,
okay. Yeah, I think I have a Chino said. Chino, I have your number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever
we can do to get this thing as faster, because more I go come half of it ready to go.
Honestly,
that is
you can't. That is the one thing. We need to go back home first.
Oh no, Tom Kashiga. Hi. Oh God.
Hey,
nothing like
I be like can the emotion nah. When I came na my compound. One of our brother, our school principal. Now you make compound there. My gova, my mango. You that is I can make the same thing no more. Room like the thing they touch and note that hey, not chill up and agum. I don't get now. Don't go. You want to was me. Let not me happen name. Oh,
I know.
Madam, what you go? That is all I know. In there, my hammer.
I'm telling you.
In there, my hammer. And I am like go now. You know, name more biango.
Yes. Yes.
Every time
I had him 2 years ago. Ube na oka. If they na akwụkwọ like this. And I say, okonye shi abroad. Si abroad because those na akwụkwọ ka ntani ube na oka. Nto ba mo no. Hey, Jesus Christ.
Thank you. Thank you. We are moving. We are going home. As in the midst of we are also planning for our safety and to make everything right. I see you, Emeka, somebody, your name is here. I see your comment. Please, there is link there. Why are you on the backstage and commenting? Come inside and prove that you are Ogenkere brief document was registered and organized by DOJ. Till today, it's never been registered. It's never been organized by DOJ. They said that Ogenkere brought a disturbing message. He's brought a complicated message that he was acting, that he was the prime minister, that he was financial minister, that he was this, and a very confused human being. The document. And the father said, based on this, we have only recognized Dr. Ngozi Orebeze as the head of state of the University of Biafra under the FERA DOJ. I have the document with here, and I have proved it as one of the most effective work of Dr. Ngozi Orebeze. When I ask, what is the work and the one I was doing organized by the FERA international community between Dr. Ngozi Orebeze, Ogenkere has nothing to organize except that what's to organize the Ogenkere is that he goes to Washington DC to check hand. And when you look at this document, when you look at this research of examples of countries that have achieved their independence through government in exile, you see they said that that person who has the original document of the peaceful declaration is the one the world knows as the legal and legitimate government of the people of the country, which is United States of Biafra, not by another person. They said, any of you are claiming, and if you said this, we are running propaganda, Emeka, come inside here, tell us where you will submit your Ogenkere document. Obona deportation tomorrow morning. I bet you. Come inside there, Emeka, come inside. Stop using fake name and fake picture to write on the comment section. Look at the link. Come inside. I challenge you to come inside. Tell us one country that you have submitted Ogenkere documents that you have used to that recognize it. Please, one. And they wanted to also know that recognizing you under the FERA doesn't make you. They said recognizing anybody or any group or any indigenous under the FERA does not give you automatic recognition that America has recognized you. They said no. Ogenkere is working on that FERA because of the betterment of the FERA. Because sometimes under the FERA, under the DOJ, you can apply for loan. So Ogenkere is about to get a big loan that we used to enrich all his entire generation in the name of fighting for you for Biafra. And that is the ulterior motive of him going to register under the FERA. Because with FERA, you can borrow money. When they look at you and say, okay, fine. And now, because of the US document, Ogenkere will never borrow that money under the FERA because of what? They will not, because they have already said that Ogenkere is bringing a disturbing message, complicated message is his name. The only thing he registered, he bringing is that Honorable Ogenkere, the acting prime, and he lied on his document where they said that document is in fact, is a disturbing document, complicated message or document is that he was claiming that he was the prime minister in 2024, that he was elected as the prime minister in 2024. Imagine the lies. And it's not that the world are not verifying everything. Once they cannot verify whatever you bring and they see something against it. When Ogenkere was claimed that Biafra was declared December 2nd, and they see a video. I said it. You see Ogenkeres and all of them that are against this government. We are going to circle their picture on their circle to show the world that they all agree when we are declared United States of Biafra, not organization, not bridge. We are going to go there very soon. Yes, we are going to play the research again. We are going to go on the research again. How the world will see a government in exile that have a structure. Like the world even quickly refer you to November 2024. Ogenkere, does he have any document via November 29, 2024? November 29, 2024. Is it propaganda? Is it lies? That is how you know. They just allow you today. I know, yes, I know Wanda, I know it's Ladipo. I refuse to block him. I just want to leave him for some grace today. But tomorrow, you know how I do. I will ban my own. Is when you continue your comment nonsense, I just ban you because I don't have time to watch people like you who knows the truth. And because of once this moment they are giving to you. Do you know why IPOB is protecting the IPOB structure? Because that is what gives them money. All of them today, Champion Ogenkre, social media was Ogenkre is paying money. USB is not paying any independent media money. And they don't even, I don't know if they have my contact. I only come to Zoom and talk and go my way. They do their job. That is how you need a government. Government is not running through a peaceful. And let me tell you, there is no other way around. Only one way. The document, the authentic, the original. I told you, why the congressman, when Ogenkere claim that he wants to go and see the congressman, Emeka, please, can you tell us why Ogenkere told you that believe in him, that the congressmen refused to come out and see him because their congressmen are busy watching you in television? Can't you see the lies and deceit from his mouth? What you are doing, that you are claiming, and with this USB declaration document, all you are claiming is you are uselessing your time and wasting your time to use 3-5 minutes to think what you will type, and I use 1 second to delete it away. And if I decide to ban you, I will use the seconds to ban you also, and you will not comment again until you go and see another new name and come. And anyone you come and mess up, I will continue banning you.
And that's how heaven and Biafra will ban him.
Yes, so that is how the truth is ban all of them, day in, day out.
History of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence. The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative. Key historical transitions to statehood. 1. The Algerian Model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free. The shift, they moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister. Result, this allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals. 2. The Polish Continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor, perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift, when Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London. The power of the Declaration. Because they held the official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years until Poland became democratic in 1990. 3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned from mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions. The legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community. Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face. The no man's land problem. International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents. Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day one. 3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting.
Ogenkere can claim to speak. Do you hear? without a formal declaration document of November 2024, all your Ogenkere is doing is words claiming. This is how the world viewed. The history, the template, the law, the road, the yardstick, the measure to every country to achieve their own has been there before you and the Ogenkere. Go and tell the Ogenkere that without this USB declared document of November 29, 2024, all of you, Emeka, you are claiming what you are not. You are lying to the world. The November, type on the Google right now, on the Google, which year was Biafra declared and in which country? Just type and see what they will give to you and which name is there. Only that close all of your mouths. Only that. How the international community reason is there's no reason like you and your dumb head that will make you a black man. Amazon can say that the most worst in life is a black man brain. That is solving all of you. You see this truth I'm giving to you will make you to cry Hadaino at last. When the truth prevailed, lies disappeared. We're not going to try to rent a hall to see a congressman for them to come. What Yogen Clay opened his mouth and do what? And insulted himself and so told you that he's a follower by telling you that the congressmen are busy. But they said, go on. We are watching you from television. Hey, that word you couldn't reason it. That thing could not say anything in your head. Tell me the congressmen have addressed Ogenkere and all of you. The word make it openly that because of the declaration document, because of this our real declaration document, that everything that you are doing, that you are claiming, and you can never succeed because of there is authenticator document, the original, with original date, with a video that shows that this is the day it happens, not what you think, not how you feel, and not how you look at it. It is about the international community, how they viewed, how they see. No country was a country without international community. It never in the history any country becomes a country without international community. And the world make it feel that it must go through under the process. So without this, why the transition work, the three pillar problems it solves, what happened? When a group makes a formal declaration like the one on the November 29, 2024, there is no other one. And there is no other document. Anybody who is against or claiming he's acting for the people is claiming without this original document of November 20, 2024 and the name that made the declaration, whose name is there, Dr. Ngozi Orabeze, who made the declaration of United States of Biafra, that she doesn't need to go and check hand in Washington, D.C. She needs to go into diplomatic by submitting all the documents of the declaration. Ogenkere told you, Izuchukwu, that's it, that he went to see the congressmen, but the congressmen are busy. Because of what? The congressmen went into research and found out that Biafra was declared in November 29, 2024, not December 2nd. And also see video of evidence of how it happens. Your achievement is VOB TV. Jesus Christ. But we want to tell you something. One more comment. You will be banned.
Creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially...
The document is being protected by law. The document of United States of Biafra Declaration in Helsinki, Finland, November 29, was being protected by the law. Not any other way around. Not anyhow. That is why it is original, always been protected by the law. If you are claiming bridges working, Ogenkere, take any government, tell Ogenkere to issue your ID card, submit it in any office or document of asylum, deportation, okay, before deport. The world has already known in all the archive, in all the Google, in all the Chrome, in all every app in the world knows that Biafra was declared November 29, 2024 by Dr. Ngozi Arabeze. That is the final full stop. So you can claim, and they said that with that declaration document on her hand, that any other group or any other person is claiming, you and the Ogenkere is claiming what you don't have, what you are not. That is what it is. So we don't care who you are. The only thing we care is the USB we are declared document, that signature document. If not for that signature document, all of you are making noise in social media. You can make your noise, you can snap your picture in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is not good recognition. No country has got recognition because of Washington, D.C. But I have also proved it to you here with the original document that no country have got recognition because of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is IPOB structure politics. You know, the IPOB use protests to get money from their people. They're not going to use Washington, D.C. to get money from his own people. This is how it works. You see, they are the same people doing the same thing with different name. IPOB use protests to get money from their followers, their dues. Ogun use Washington, D.C. to get money from their gullible. And now, the easiest one used to get money from them now is VOB TV, Voice of, who has Voice of Biafra is copyright. Mas Simon Ebanjoko introduced to us. We already been there before you, and it has been working. We all know when Nobato B is here. The radio, the Voice Radio Biafra is working. The Voice of Radio Biafra is what working.
Denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing. Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law. Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government?
Yes, Iccpr, honestly, I must be proud if I can be able to fabricate all these things I play out. That means I am intelligent more than you. If I can be able to do this, I am intelligent more than you. And I know you. I block you on my WhatsApp where you were writing nonsense and sending to me. And I don't have time to read garbage. And if I can fabricate all this I'm reading out here, that Poland was in exile in 1933 to 1990 in London, that means I am in fact, Emana, if I can fabricate this, honestly, Biafrans, I am more intelligent. That means my brain is computer. If I can also fabricate that's Algeria, 1958, move away from protest group to form a government in exile, that means I am very smarter than all of you. That is why you need to come and listen from me. And I am intelligent more than your Ogenkere, because he's empty head, nothing is inside there. So you can also fabricate that a country, all these countries are here. I'm mentioning their history, how they transition, how they stop being a noisemaker like you and your Ogenkere, who always comes to me to make a noise and rant and shout. And what happened? If I can, that means I am more than from today. You have been banned to enter this platform. Yes, you, all of you will be banned. I don't waste the you can listen from behind. So you have 5 minutes to think what you will write. I take 1 second to block you and delete all of them. Can't you say it's no longer on the page? Right? You cannot write it again. So what you will do now is to walk away from the platform. That is all you need to do. That is the best thing for you for now. Because you and your noise making is all we need at this time around. We are moving to how the world wants us to establish Biafra, how we can get recognition. We have established Biafra as a country. Now we are only looking for what? Recognition. That is all we are looking for. So in summary, I'm going to play it from the noise to the last 3 sections without making any comment. So if you want to record this area and cut and send out, now you can do that. Yes, on this first one I'm playing now, my question was, under the research was, why organizations with only protests view as sound of making noise in the eyes of the international global community? Then who are this international global community? The UN, the EU, the AU, ICJ, criminal courts, the ICCPR, human rights organizations. How do they see you with your protest as a noisemaker? And why do they see governments in exile with a peaceful redeclaration as a state, which is a country in waiting for recognition? Listen.
The perception of noise versus diplomacy in the international community often comes down to how a movement balances grassroots mobilization with institutional engagement. While protests are vital for visibility, international bodies, like the UN or foreign ministries, typically prioritize movements that can demonstrate a transition from agitation to administration. Here is why organizations that rely solely on protests are often dismissed by the international community. 1. The preference for state-like behavior. International law and diplomacy are built on the framework of the Montevideo Convention. For the international community to take a movement seriously, they look for more than just public outcry. They look for defined territory and population, clear evidence of who is being represented and where, administrative capacity, a functional government structure, even in exile, that can draft policy, manage resources, and engage in high-level correspondence. Diplomatic engagement, moving beyond the streets to engage in formal lobbying, filing legal briefs, and meeting with foreign officials. 2. The stability filter. Global powers generally prioritize stability. Protests by nature are disruptive. If an organization only protests without offering a clear, sophisticated alternative for governance or a roadmap for a peaceful transition, international actors may view the movement as a source of instability rather than a viable political partner. 3. Messaging and professionalism. In the eyes of international observers, there is a distinct difference between mobilization and representation. Noise, chaotic messaging, lack of centralized leadership, or purely reactive demonstrations. Voice, submitting documented reports on human rights, engaging with the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, in the US, and maintaining official diplomatic channels. 4. The role of governance in exile. Successful movements often use a dual-track strategy. While protests maintain internal morale and local visibility, the government in exile performs the quiet work of sovereignty. This includes issuing official declarations and charters, appointing designated leaders, such as a chief of staff or prime minister, to act as the sole authorized voice for the movement, protecting the movement's brand and assets from being hijacked by unauthorized individuals. Summary table. Protest versus diplomacy. Feature. Protest only, viewed as noise. Institutional approach, viewed as voice. Primary goal. Attention and disruption. Recognition and legitimacy. Output. Slogans and marches, policy papers, and legal filings. Communication. Social media and megaphones. Diplomatic missions and official letters. Target. The general public, governments and international bodies. By moving from a purely protest-based model to one that emphasizes administrative authority and official representation, a movement shifts from being a noisemaker to a recognized political entity. How do you think a movement can best prove its administrative readiness?
Now, on this second section I'm going to play, my
The international community.
My question was, why international community sees government in exile with transition into making a formal declaration or redeclaration as government of a country in waiting for international recognition? Now listen to the answer.
Views the transition from a quote to a government in waiting as a critical shift from activism to statehood. While protests signal popular dissatisfaction, a formal declaration of independence or restoration signals the intent to be a peer among nations. Here is why the formal declaration and the government in waiting structure are treated with more weight by the international community. 1. The legal signal of intent. In international law, a formal declaration is a unilateral act of legal significance. It moves a movement from being a domestic issue, which other countries often avoid to respect non-interference, to an international legal claim, the claim of sovereignty. By making a formal declaration, the movement is officially asserting that the previous legal order is no longer valid for them. Foundational document. A declaration acts as the birth certificate of the state in waiting. It gives international lawyers and diplomats a specific document to analyze against the Montevideo Convention: territory, population, government, and capacity for relations. 2. Establishing sovereign personality. The international community does not recognize protests. It recognizes states and governments. The organ of the state, a government in exile, GIE, acts as the official organ that represents the state. When a DIE is properly structured, with a chief of staff, a prime minister, and specific departments, it demonstrates administrative capacity. Diplomatic immunity. Once a government is recognized, even if in exile, its officials may claim certain privileges and immunities under customary international law that are never granted to protest leaders. 3. Creating a counter-narrative of legitimacy. Foreign governments are often risk-averse. They do not want to support rebels, but they might support a legitimate government that has been displaced or is restoring its rights. The de jure claim. A formal declaration allows a movement to argue that they are the de jure, rightful government, even if they are not yet in de facto physical control. Clear leadership. A government in waiting provides a single authorized point of contact. This prevents the noise of multiple voices and ensures that when a foreign power wants to discuss policy or human rights, they know exactly who speaks for the movement, e.g., the specific leader identified in the restoration documents. 4.
When the world had to talk to the people, they only talk to what? The name on the real declaration document. You see why they told that you are claiming what you are, who you are not. That they know who to talk to. And they make it openly. That who they can talk to is the name on the peaceful reaction document, which is Ngozi Oraveze, not Ogenkere, not BGC, not IPOB, not MASOB. Until you know the power and the weight of what happened in Helsinki, Finland, that you are Ogenkere try to stop.
Transition from rights to responsibilities. Protest groups ask for rights. Governments in waiting accept responsibilities. International recognition is a two-way street.
Protest group ask for rights from Nigerian government, but a government in exile serve their people and provide their needs and protect them within the law.
Treaty capacity. A government in waiting signals that it is ready to be bound by international treaties, human rights standards, and economic agreements. Law and order. By declaring a government, the movement is telling the world, we have the laws and the administrative structure to prevent chaos if the current regime falls. Summary of the shift. Phase. Focus. International perception. Protest phase. Emotional appeal/visibility. Internal domestic unrest. Noise. Declaration phase. Legal appeal/intent. Assertion of sovereignty. A case to be heard. Gov in waiting phase. Administrative readiness. A viable alternative. A partner in waiting. Note.
Yes, Chukwuma is lies because of you are not the one given recognition. Is lies because of your black brain man putting a man dropper from primary 6 on your wallpaper as somebody who you followed. That is why, Chukwuma, that is why it's lies. And this is the international norms and their procedures have a new country. That name on a written document, go and search. Just type on the Google. If any international community wants to recognize any country that's made a peaceful declaration, which name are they going to recognize? I want to give you what you can type and find out Ogenkere was not there. You can only see November 29, 2024 by peaceful real declaration by Dr. Ngozi Oraveze. Go and hold transformer. And on this, you realize, yeah, don't waste time. I'm not looking for followers. You have been bound to enter this page from forever. You won't enter again. That's how I do.
The declaration on November 29, 2024, serves as this specific legal anchor. It transformed the movement's narrative from one of grievance to one of formal state restoration, providing the international community with a specific administrative framework to engage with. How do you think a formal government structure changes the way a movement handles its own internal legal disputes?
Now, going to the last one, section 3. My question was, I want to know history of the many protest group transition into government in exile that gives them international recognition of their full country after their declaration. Listen.
The history of movements transitioning from protest groups or liberation movements into governments in exile, GIE, is a history of seeking legal legitimacy over mere physical presence. The international community rarely recognizes a protest, but it has a long history of recognizing a government in waiting that presents a formal, organized administrative alternative. Key historical transitions to statehood. One, the Algerian model, 1958, from guerrilla to provisional government. The GPRA, Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, is one of the most successful examples of a liberation movement, FLN, transitioning into a formal government before the country was free. The shift. They moved from being viewed as insurgents to a formal government with a prime minister and foreign minister. Result. This allowed them to sign international treaties and gain diplomatic recognition from Arab and Asian nations, forcing France to eventually negotiate with them as equals. 2. The Polish continuity, 1939 to 1990. The legal anchor, perhaps the most famous example of maintaining sovereignty through a government in exile. The shift. When Poland was occupied during World War II, the government fled and re-established itself in London. The power of the Declaration. Because they held the official seals and constitutional authority, the Allies recognized them as the only legitimate voice of Poland, not the occupying forces. They maintained this government in waiting status for 50 years until Poland became democratic in 1990. 3. The Baltic Singing Revolution, 1987 to 1991. Restoration of rights. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania used a unique strategy. They argued that their countries were never legally part of the USSR. The shift. They transitioned from mass protests, the Baltic Way, to redeclaring their pre-occupation constitutions. The legal hook. By framing their movement as a restoration of a previous state, rather than the creation of a new one, they gained rapid international recognition because they were returning to the global community. Why the transition works. The 3 pillars. When a group makes a formal declaration, like the one on November 29, 2024, and forms a government in exile, they solve 3 major problems that protest-only groups face. The no man's land problem. International law, specifically the Montevideo Convention, requires a government to exist for a state to be recognized. A protest group has no legal standing. A government in exile provides a legal personality that can hold bank accounts, hire lobbyists, and sign documents. Why? The leadership problem. Protest movements are often viewed as leaderless or chaotic. By establishing a formal hierarchy, e.g., a chief of staff, a deputy prime minister, and specific administrative roles, the movement tells the world, we are ready to govern on day one. 3. The prevention of hijacking. Without a formal government declaration, any individual can claim to speak for a movement. A formal government in waiting creates a brand protected by law. It allows the movement to officially denounce unauthorized individuals who attempt to represent the cause without administrative backing. Comparison. Protest versus government in exile. Feature. Protest movement. Government in exile. Legal status. Civil unrest. Sovereign entity. In waiting. International goal. Media coverage. Diplomatic recognition. Primary tool. Marches and strikes. Declarations and lobbying. Accountability. None. Bound by international law. Strategic note. History shows that the most successful movements are those that use protests to prove popular support, but use a government in exile to prove administrative readiness. One provides the noise, the other provides the signature. In your view, what is the biggest challenge a government in exile faces when trying to convince a foreign power that they are the true government?
I hope you have listened to all of them and you have found an answer to whatever might be disturbing you. We need to know that it's still with this our first after the failure of Biafra in 1967 to 1970. On this issue of present now that we have made our peaceful declaration, there is no any other document that supersedes and no human being. That's what they said, that the peaceful declaration make a difference between those claiming to speak or fighting for a new nation. That after the peaceful declaration, the document is only that declaration document to prove those who are fighting for a new nation under the eyes, under the view of the international global community. Without this, like Obatobi told all of us, that without this declaration document, you are making noise. Can't you see how a protest view in the eyes of the international global community that you are making on social media? You want to continue making noise? We have moved away. You heard about transition. You heard about how Poland transitioned. You heard about Algeria and many of them, how they transitioned into a country. That is what that is the most important area you need to know at this time around. And USV are declared has followed the history of Algeria. They have followed the history of Poland. They have followed the history of Namibia. We have followed the history of Eritrea. We have followed the history of Kenya. The history of those that have gone through this process are plenty numerous, and USB are one of them. That is why today, go and ask which year was Biafra was declared and in which country and by who. That solves your problem. If that could not clear your eyes to know that you are claiming who you are not, it's like when your father is poor. You see some of these girls that when their father is poor, they will claim they are from rich home. When you're taking them to their house, they will stop. You will stop them at a big man's gate, and they will stand there until you go. They will enter to their house. This is what you are doing. You and Yogen Kere. This is what you are claiming. This is the level you can put yourself into. With USV, we are declared. We have moved as a country, whether I like it or not. Yes, in summary, please, Mommy Ojugo, please, if you're available, take your time to summarize. You want to end the program. It's maximum 3 hours, and I want to prepare for my work because time is clicking. Seriously. Thank you so much. If you're available, you can have the mic.
Maybe I'm not. I'm in the meeting.
All right. Thank you. So, dear friends, I have given to you what you're supposed to know and what it means for us to have Biafra as a country. How we have moved away from noise making. What end the noise making in social media is peaceful redeclaration, the November 29, 2024, by one and only Dr. Musa Rabeze and all the cabinet members. These are only people that have moved us away from making noise of all these years of IPOB. My fallback is like IPOB on nothing. No difference between IPOB and the fallback bridge. No difference between them and BGC. No difference between Masob and all this. They are one people putting a distraction. They think that the name of Biafra is what they use and build mansion. The name of Biafra will bring Nigeria to come and giving them money. They think that they come on social media and feel like they are important. The time has come. The end time is where we are. In this end point, nothing supersedes USB declared document. If you are not on this side, you have entered one chance and you will cry Hadaino. I want to tell you that you are ignorant is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. The law is bitter. The truth is bitter, but lie is sweet. We are on the side of the bitterness, which is the truth, is where we stand. That is our mandate. So from me, from here, remember to like and share anytime this program comes into your pop up into your YouTube, your Facebook, or anywhere you are watching from. Please endeavor to like and share, comment. Thank you so much. One love. We move because the time is moving very fast because of what I have to do here. So please, my people, we must continue to let the world know that we know what we are looking for. And what we are looking for is what? Biafra as a country. Nothing more than that. So I thank you all. Mama Simon, I thank you. Okay, Shuku, Simon, I thank you. Amarashi, I thank you. Wada Nenaya, I thank you so much. And I had to ask about when I was not really feeling fine. Mommy Florence Wikuku, I thank you so much. Ekenez, my brother, I thank you so much. We move. And in Next Mark, I thank you. Next thing, we are not supporting division, but we are telling you the truth. You cannot achieve Biafra without division. In your house, you and your brothers cannot always agree. You have disagree and agree. It happens in this movement. Have a wonderful day. Stay blessed and remain quiet in the country where you are, because USB is on the way. Until I see you again the same time tomorrow. Thank you so much. We move.